I told him to draw Kingdom Hearts characters because that's what we're talking about. But
Coercion!
he'll probably just draw whatever the heck he wants, which is just strange, gangly creatures.
Coercion in the games industry!
All right, welcome to the What the D-Pad podcast, worst gaming news podcast on the internet.
That's debatable.
I'm your host, Evan Griffin. I'm playing the indie darling Unexplored, darling particularly to our music editor, Ryan Gibbs.
Hi.
And then we have Travis.
Hey, I'm here.
Who published a review of Iconoclasts today.
It's a pretty neat game.
And Alex will probably have the, what do you call it? The Monster Hunter review up pretty soon, so.
Hey, Evan, if you possibly can, you might want to put the music on this game on for a little bit whenever you want, because it has a really good soundtrack.
I kind of will be putting it, I always kind of put it a little lower just so that the stream can hear us, but
Yeah.
I'll definitely be paying attention to the music.
I always kind of put it a little lower. Just
Woo!
Yeah. But yeah, this is Iconoclasts.
No, it's
and
not.
No, it's not.
this is Unexplored. I'm sorry, I screwed up the name of the game that I have spent 66 hours on since September.
Dude, that's almost as much time as I spent being disappointed by Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah, well, the thing with me is that there's a lot of reasons why I've played this game so much. First off, my computer is not a great computer, and it runs this thing like a charm. Two, I tend to play one game until I've beaten it to death, and I am still not tired of this. So the gist of Unexplored is that it is a roguelike. When I say roguelike, I mean that in the most literal sense possible. It resembles the original game Rogue that kicked off the genre. It also has a little bit of like NetHack and Mora in it. So yeah, this is kind of a like graphically like spiritual successor to these like starting points of the roguelike genre pre Diablo. So that's
no shit.
why it really caught my eye when Ty Tuesday streamed it, and I fell in love with it, and I bought it in the middle of his stream for full price. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, I guess I'm just gonna have to... I'm literally going into this cold.
Mm-hmm.
So...
You can...
Yeah, he just picks whatever we tell him to play.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Not
if someone else on the editorial staff tells you, hey, I've put nearly 3 full days worth of playing this game, it might be worth streaming.
Well, nobody's listening to me about Persona 5, are they?
Alright, so you would, like, as you go through the game, you
I do
unlock
not have the time.
I know you
Alright.
don't.
So, as you go through this game, you do have different classes. You haven't unlocked any of them yet.
Okay.
You're just the standard stock guy.
Okay. Now, okay, so this is like a... Okay, so it's top down. I'm looking at my man's singular eyeball.
Yes.
I'm gonna
This
give
is
him
all
the-
just aesthetics. You can mess with him however
Okay,
you
but I'm
want.
giving him the biggest eyebrow possible. Yes, give him a purple cape. Alright,
Yeah.
so we're gonna do this.
There you go.
You have a bit of things. You have a bit of things. The beer option either gives you a bit of advice, or you have a random possibility to get an item from the guy. But yeah, this is what you have. This is what you don't really have much to do with inventory as of this point. So
Okay.
yeah, you really can't buy anything because you don't have any money. You don't have any inventory right now.
Gotcha.
So yeah, welcome to Unexplored.
Okay.
All right,
How do I go about this? Hold on, is this mouse and keyboard or is this a controller game?
it's mouse and keyboard.
Alright.
It's either WASD or the arrow keys. Weirdly, with WASD games, I tend to play with the arrow keys. I know a lot of people don't like to do that, but that's just what I'm used
It's easier
to.
to do that with a laptop.
Yeah. Well, also I'm left-handed, so it might be a little different. Now you can't leave until you've gotten this amulet on the very bottom floor. So
Okay.
yeah, there's no town. What you have for healing is what you have until you find some more potions. The rations are important because those are additional healing. Like, let's just say you have to run out of potions or you don't want to use one. You have those, I think they heal you about 20%, but not automatic. This game, with healing potions, there's an option. Yeah, you just threw your dagger.
Okay, but I can pick it back up. Okay.
Yeah. There is an option that's turned on by default that when you get to low enough health, the game just automatically drinks one of your potions for you.
Gotcha.
Alright.
Kind of like this,
You stepped on a trap. You can buy stuff later on for, you can disarm that trap when you see it. Yeah, there you go.
Gotcha. What is this thing? That's a torch?
That's a torch.
Okay,
now...
So this is a lever.
It is.
Okay, so I just kind of bumped into it.
Yep.
Okay. Alright, so I don't even really need to click on items to pick them up, necessarily.
If you already have them in your inventory or they're yours.
Gotcha.
Pick up that thing that's a little bit close to you. That's some stuff to start up your torches.
Flint and steel, got it.
Yep. Oh.
Oop.
Oop.
Yeah, that'll do. What is this little glowing thing here?
Oh, that is a sprite. You can use that for like light instead of a torch.
Gotcha.
If you have an extra thing, you just close the door. Now those barrels you can look through to see if there's any crap in them. They're mostly rations if they're closed or they have a little sprightly thing on them.
Gotcha. Looks like they're empty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plugging along now.
Yeah.
This looks like kind of a goofy Binding of Isaac.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Binding of Isaac is deliberately hardcore.
It is okay. So I bought it for the Switch. This is the first time I've owned the game,
Oh,
and
really?
I've still not finished a run in that game.
No, I haven't either, and I have it on Steam since like the year it came out. I just couldn't really.
In the bottom there is a chest down there. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah,
and you got a shovel out of the chest. Oh, well, I've been playing this game nonstop since September. I have never found a use for those shovels.
Oh, so there's no.
There has to be some use for them.
Eventually.
There's nothing in this game that isn't useful.
Oh, I can just go on the water. Okay.
Well, that part of the water. The deeper stuff you have to. Yeah, you have air. Yeah, now you found it.
Oh, I killed him. Okay. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just kind of getting used to the gameplay here.
Yeah.
Boop boop boop.
That door is barred. You need to find a lever for that door. The boxes are also kind of like the same thing.
Looks like we got a torch here.
Yep. You don't necessarily need the torch right now. If it's super dark in there, you can use it. But like right now, you don't necessarily need the torch.
Gotcha. Ooh. All right.
Yeah. All right. So now you're into another part of the levers. That circular lever right there is a timed lever.
This one here?
Yep. It will go off, and then you have a bit of time to get in the door. And there might be a chance that if you run into that door, it might lock behind you, and you'll have no way to get back in.
Uh-oh.
So you have to be very careful. Like this one, you need to get out of there.
Oop. Did I screw it up?
Not necessarily. Alright, so open up your HUD. There is on the left side of your screen a thing that says pray for help.
Yeah.
Click that. And now jump into that portal.
Okay. Huh.
You can only use that a couple times before the game tells you, nope, you're not doing that anymore.
Huh.
So, like, it's useful if, like, on occasion you might get stuck behind one of those doors.
Okay.
That is the first time I've seen that portal warp you all the way back to the store. It normally just opens up the door for you.
Gotcha. That's how bad I messed up.
Well, at least you're back more or less to where you were.
Ooh.
Now, you've picked up a couple scrolls and they aren't identified. There are about 15 or 16 different scrolls in the game. Some are good. That one's kind of a mech one, teleportation. It just bopped you wherever. The potions are a little more complex. There are both... There are less scrolls that are good for you and scrolls that are bad for you. They're more potions that are good for you to drink and potions that are good for you to throw. So if you drink one of the fire potions, you're dead. If you throw one of the fire potions at an enemy, you get to do damage on the enemy.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I can dig it.
Yeah. The one that always gets me with the potions is the one for corrosion, which ruins your current equipment.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oops.
And also you can't memorize the colors. They change with every random dungeon cycle. All right.
Oh, I don't need to throw them. Okay.
Yeah, you can throw the dagger. You don't need to throw the short sword.
Let's see what we got in here.
This is gonna be a fun podcast to just listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
You want to start looking at the topics while I'm going through this, I guess?
All right. Hey, you got the second, the first achievement.
I did.
All right.
I did.
So let's go through one of the less controversial ones first.
Okay. Kingdom Hearts had a trailer.
Yes. Hold on, Ryan. Do you not know things about Kingdom Hearts?
I have never played I have never played a Kingdom Hearts game. I've never owned a PlayStation.
Okay, but do you know what the shtick of it is and all that?
It is a game where anime children fight alongside Disney characters.
There's so much more than that.
That's the vaguest explanation, and that'll do.
Oh, Travis, please try to summarize the story of Kingdom Hearts for Ryan. I really want to hear you try.
Oh god, okay.
Uh-oh, you're in trouble.
Hold on.
So,
Health?
So here's the thing, right?
Okay.
All the Disney worlds, all the Disney films and their worlds are interconnected in this galaxy of fiction, basically. And also, there are a couple of worlds where all of Tetsuya Nomura's creations for Square Enix live. And...
yeah, because it pretty much just combines everything from Final Fantasy. It's not like just 7.
No, it's anything Tetsuya Nomura has worked on.
All right.
Not even just Final Fantasy anymore. The World Ends with You is now
unequipped. You are too encumbered to do the oh, it already gave you the tip. Hey. Yeah, you can wield this Morning Star as either a two-handed weapon while you don't have any, while you're too weak to carry it, or you can just do it with that and take it. Hi, by the way, Alex just joined him while I was expositing. Hi, Alex.
Okay, there.
Hi, Alex. We're challenging me to explain briefly what Kingdom Hearts actually is as a concept to Ryan.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. You're very faint.
Oh. Okay. That's weird. It says my fancy. I don't know. Every time I try to use my earbuds, it's like, yeah, no, don't work. Okay, but
that's computers.
Hold on, I gotta go. I'll be back.
Okay.
Hi, bye.
That was fast.
Hi, bye.
By the way, those piles of gold, those are gold.
Yeah.
You can pick up gold.
Nice.
There's one right there. And then there's one up there. And, ooh, you can... Yeah, there is a cooldown on these weapons, by the way.
Yeah, I noticed.
That is the trade-off with, Oh, no, don't drink that, your health potion just yet. Use one of the rations.
Rations?
Top of them. It's the apple. Right above the potion.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. They're kind of like, They're a little easier to find in your in the dungeon than potions, so you don't have to reserve them if you're really hurting.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now it looks like there's stuff buried into the wall here. Is that?
That's just the wall light.
Okay. All right. Uh-oh.
Oh, he has a potion that he's gonna throw at you. Is it a gas or smoke? All right, smoke. He has another one.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I'm echoing to somebody's thing.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, you're in the dark.
I hear noises.
It's Alex again.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'm actually out of town, so I probably only got like an hour, but I got an hour, so let's hear Travis talk about Kingdom Hearts, huh?
Wait, I waited just for you. Okay, so Ryan, like I was saying, so it's this big galaxy, and there are Disney worlds, and then the couple of places where Tetsuya Nomura's characters and all of their pockets live. And okay, long story short, every living thing and the planet that they live on have hearts. Not just the physical blood pumping thing, but the spiritual thing.
Emotional heart.
The emotional thing. And these can be taken from those living things, including the planets that they live on. And when that happens, that person or whatever is turned into what's called a heartless, and it's usually a black creature, and because they don't have a heart, they try to take other hearts and feed on them, and that's the really basic explanation of what the enemies are.
Doesn't creating a heartless also make a nobody?
And that's the other part.
That's where the sequel kind of lost me.
Hearts too.
See, that's the only one that I've played.
To be fair, that's the best one.
I don't know, Travis. This sounds awful convoluted. Is it convoluted?
It's convoluted as shit.
Ryan, it's convoluted fan fiction turned into
like
a reality.
I like when they announced Kingdom Hearts, like the first one, they're like, oh, it's just Disney with a little bit of Final Fantasy.
Okay, so yeah, I actually
with a little bit of Disney.
You did a retrospective last year.
Is it just standard Mickey Mouse Disney, or is it entirely possible for like Hank Hill to now be in Kingdom Hearts?
Okay, so here's okay. So the original Kingdom Hearts had worlds from I shit you not. You're gonna actually
this Heartless aren't right.
The worlds were Alice in Wonderland, Little Mermaid, Tarzan,
Tarzan,
sure.
Aladdin,
Phil Collins Tarzan,
Phil Collins Tarzan. Phil Collins is Tarzan.
Not Phil Collins is Tarzan. The Phil Collins Tarzan. You know what I mean.
That's what I call it.
And in what
he wrote and directed and starred in it.
and did all the drums.
Phil Collins.
His drums voiced Tarzan.
Okay, so that's your idea. Like, it covers classic worlds. It covers, Hercules was one of them.
Yeah,
Winnie the Pooh was one of them.
It was like the arena, and that's where Cloud was. He's just
Cloud hung out there.
Yeah, Hades was like enslaved Cloud, right?
Yeah, he stole his soul.
Yeah, okay.
Beauty and the
That's
Beast
the
is
thing.
technically in it, but it's not a world. Neverland.
Right.
The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, that was probably the best one.
You go inside of Monstro from Pinocchio. It's really fucking weird. Okay, so the first game, and I'm focusing on the first game because it's easier.
Yeah.
You play as this kid, and he's literally the happiest-go-lucky kid on the entire, universe, because this is a Disney project. Fun fact, originally Mickey Mouse was going to be the main character, and that's why Sora has giant shoes. Just so you know.
I never actually knew that.
Yeah, it was originally...
Say that again. Say that again, please.
Originally, when they made the first concept wave of this, Mickey Mouse was going to be the main character of Kingdom Hearts, And as a result, like as the changes and everything were made, the original version of Sora has various borrowed elements from the classic Mickey Mouse design, and that's why Sora has big shoes.
Wow.
Wait, why didn't they just stay with Mickey Mouse? That actually would have been like pretty rad.
Disney had a problem with him carrying a sword, because at the time it wasn't a keyblade, it was a chainsaw.
Oh,
that would do it.
Wow.
So they were like, it was like a chainsaw sword because this was during Nomura's weird phase with weapon design. So yeah, they were like, yeah, Mickey Mouse can't have a chainsaw, guys, and they were like, okay, fine, we'll make another character, and so they just borrowed elements of Mickey's design for that character, and then eventually settled on the actual let's make a key a sword.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, so while we're talking, Evan, one, that is a shop. You can't kill the shop.
This?
Yeah, this is a shop. Two...
Oh, I thought that guy was a demon.
No, that is an elf. They are the shopkeepers in this game.
But I don't have enough monies.
You
I guess
don't.
that depends on how you view capitalism, but...
Second off, props for killing that beehive. That is one of my least favorite enemies in the game.
Okay.
They just shoot out bees, and they do bee things.
I hate bee things.
Oh no, not
Also,
the bee.
it's suddenly very smoky over here.
Yep, you're in the water, and there's fog.
Okay.
Smoke on the water.
Third off, now some of the levels in these randomly generated dungeons, and the dungeons in this game are randomly generated using this really cool process. Some of the floors in the game might have multiple exits.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so you might find a set of stairs. You're also just drowning right now. Swim to yourself.
So anyway, long story short, and Ryan, I'm gonna drop a picture of what these
Very long
things look
story.
like in here too. But yeah, long story short, you play as this really happy-go-lucky kid, and his island home is destroyed, and he gains the ability to like
Unlock
wield
everything.
a sword that is a key, and he has to go from planet to planet trying to find his friends and inadvertently save the world. And yeah, it's the plot of a Final Fantasy game, basically. But Billy Zane is in it.
Wait,
Billy Zane
is in it.
Titanic Billy Zane?
Yeah, Titanic Billy Zane. I'm gonna find a clip of Billy Zane in Kingdom Hearts for you. I'm gonna do it right now. It's like,
All right.
like what in the
Oh, wait,
world?
hold on. Who played Roxas? Was it Jesse McCartney?
Jesse McCartney played
That's what I
Roxas.
thought. That's what I
Haley Joel Osment is still Sora.
Wow.
Wow, I've
From
not heard
early
the name.
2000s.
I have not heard the name Jesse McCartney. in, like,
Hayden Panettiere was Kyrie, but they have recast her. I don't think she wants to come back anymore.
Why?
Was she not in the secondary games? That character?
Vaguely. In fact, they're just now making her important again
Be right
in
back.
a way that
Was
is
she ever
relevant.
actually important?
In the
Was
first
like a
game,
princess, right?
yeah, she is. She's in the first game, and then
At the end of
No.
the second game.
well, she gets kidnapped in the second game. So
She
I mean,
was
they
kidnapped
play
in the
right into
first
that.
game, too.
Yeah, but she was at least
Therefore, she's
unconscious.
not a character.
Ryan, I put a video of Billy Zane in Kingdom Hearts there for you. And I mean, get a look at that guy.
Oh, Ansem.
Hold on, I have to just bump out of the game real quick so I can see this.
Was he called Ansem just because he was supposed
All
to
right.
be called Handsome?
All right, Evan,
but didn't want to
second-
own up to it.
Second thing, you're
I-
going back and forth between these barred doors. They're not going to open.
Yes.
You've pressed a switch. Maybe try one of the other doors that you passed by at the start of this level.
Okay.
One of those might have opened.
Not that one. Not this one.
Wasn't that one?
Not
That's
over
a
here.
gate. That one didn't open.
No.
Maybe that one all the way over there opened. Yep, it did.
Alright.
By the way, that one doesn't open. That's the
There we go.
stairs. That's the stairs that you just came down.
Ah.
By the way, look through some of those boxes. It looks like there's some stuff in them. So that glimmering stuff, that means that there's something in one of those boxes.
So are we talking Kingdom Hearts because of the third trailer drop, or are we?
Yeah, we were getting to that. We were getting to that. So anyway, from there, Ryan, the game was a hit because Disney, and so they quickly began trying to write in more plot, and instead of telling Tetsuya Nomura to chill it the hell out, it just got more convoluted and weird and retconny, and now we're here to Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, well, the weird part is that, like, you know, people were into it because of the Disney, but then when they decided to make more of it, they're like, oh, wait, let's actually put in more of the Final Fantasy.
Oh, my friend, you should see people who are so into these actual characters, though.
Oh, I know.
I know. I do know that people love this game.
I went to a magnet high school, so we had no sports. It was all like arts and accelerated academics. So there was like an Organization 13. There were just 7 kids who were dressed.
Did they wear the fucking coats?
Did
they wear the coats, Alex? Please don't tell me they wore the coats.
They wore the coats.
Oh my god, everyone in that game wears the coats
that's like
now.
The kids in Middle America that walk around saying they identify as wolves. And they have tails.
That was my high school. I went to a wolf school.
You went to a wolf school?
I went to a wolf school. Santa Susana Wolf School.
Did they have a BDSM club?
I mean, that's not school appropriate, so no. But it was a wolf school.
I love how wholesome that Jim Sterling, the answer to that Jim Sterling style question was.
Take the secret room, and you will. This is a clue to a puzzle that you might come across.
Got it.
It's in your journal.
You will know the shape of the key. All right.
You'll have it for later because it's in your journal.
But yeah, like the point is that like they got hella popular with like.
Oh yeah. And then so you've played Kingdom Hearts 2, Evan, so you know you kill most of them, right?
Yes, the organization.
Yeah, so here's what you don't know is that they then subsequently came up with a convoluted explanation for who Zenmus and Ansem really are, and then went out of their way to retcon damn near all the deaths of every member of Organization 13.
Wait, you mean like in those side story ones?
Yeah.
So, what do you mean, as in all those characters are alive again just because they're popular?
Okay, I'm gonna ruin the last game that actually came out for people.
I only played
which is the PSP one or the 3DS one?
The 3DS one. So this is a part of the 2.8 collection thing, whatever.
Drop distance. See, that's the other thing, Ryan, to keep in mind is that tons and tons of people out there only played 1 or 2 of these games, but they enjoyed them. But then you have the Game Boy Advance one in between 1 and 2. You have 3 PSP games, a DS game, and a 3DS game.
Oh, and 3 mobile games?
Are those canon?
They sure as shit are, dude. It's Square Enix.
Wait, what? the mobile there's a franchise where the mobile games are canon. You just hit.
And one of them was exclusive to Japan. So do you want to know what they did?
Oh,
what?
They remade it as a DS game.
The mobile game?
Was that Kingdom Hearts Rechained?
Yeah, that's coded.
Oh, coded. So that was a mobile game from years ago.
Yeah, remade as a DS game because it was canon and the mobile game was no longer supported and also was only ever released in Japan. So they kind of had to do something about that. And I don't mean 3DS game, I do mean DS game.
Okay, so what's supposed to happen in Kingdom Hearts 3?
Okay, let me spoil the last one. So if you are someone who cares, stop watching for a minute. Like
I have played only 1 and 2, and that is it. And I assume
I
3
have
was
played
after 2, but I am wrong.
I will say that I like most of these games, and I have in fact played every single one of them. But 3D, the end of 3D reveals that Xehanort, who is the human version of the 2 villains from the first
That's
game.
Christopher Lee's character, right?
No, that's Leonard Nimoy's character.
Leonard Nimoy was in these?
Oh yeah,
he
was
was
like the old guy who was like explaining everything.
Yeah. He's in these games. Leonard Nimoy is in Kingdom fucking Hearts.
Both of them are dead, though.
Yes, they are.
But not in.
Hey, Ryan, real quick, not to do a non sequitur on this, guys. I'm on a rug with all these owls.
That is just a design. That's the emblem of the.
It's not my
god
puzzle.
in the game.
It's not the puzzle I'm looking for.
It's not the puzzle you collected the things for the puzzle you're looking for. Those stones.
Oh.
It might not even be on this level. You just collected the thing for the thing. I think the exit for this level is in one of the 2 doors you just unlocked. So either this one coming up, the one in that room, or the one all the way at the tip top.
It's the one over here because I just this was barred before. Sorry, continue with
I keep telling people I'm going to spoil it. Okay, so it reveals that the main character, the main villain of the Kingdom Hearts franchise, who you do not actually meet within 1 or 2, the core Kingdom Hearts games.
Because you think that the character that is the main villain of each of those games is actually the villain, and then it turns out that they're just like a copy of him. Either a heartless version of him or a nobody version of him.
He split himself up because, well, they're making this shit up as they go along, basically. Anyway, he can time travel.
Why?
What? Hold on. What? Why?
So he can travel through time because an older version of himself uses a very special Keyblade to go back to his young self, who is from the same set of islands that Sora is from, it turns out.
Shit. So we're gonna find out in Kingdom Hearts 3, we're gonna find out that he is Sora.
No, he's not Sora, he's a different person.
He's Riku.
He's a different person, but he's a native to the islands like they were originally in the first game.
He's the Starfruit.
And he goes back in time to tell his younger self to go into all of these various points in his own timeline and recruit evil people so that he can make a new organization, with the catch that he puts a part of his own heart into all of them. So basically it's an organization made up of every single fan servicey organization member, every version of himself, and they all now have yellow eyes.
Oh hey, by the way, Evan, you're in a room with an anvil in it. If you come across like a sigil or something to upgrade your weapons, come back here later and you can improve it. Continue, Travis.
And at the end of Dream Drop Distance, you find out that they have hijacked Sora's Keyblade Mastery training to pull him into their fold and infect him with a part of Xehanort's evil, and they want him to be the 13th member. And so Riku has to go save his ass.
This sounds ridiculous.
And so Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to start with Sora having to basically relearn how to do everything. They stole all his power, and meanwhile, all the other characters have to start preparing for this big-ass war.
And you died.
Y'all got dinged.
Before you go out, open up your inventory so I can see what you had in your inventory. Just press I. Alright, so you had you had a remove curse scroll, you had a freezing potion, so you could have thrown that at something and could have,
Figures, okay.
Yeah. You had gas, you had darkness, which is only good if you're solving a puzzle. So yeah, that is your first run of Unexplored. What did you think before you were torn to pieces by some wolves?
I think I got a lot to learn. So basically I start over.
Yeah, you start over.
Can I recover these items from my dead body?
No.
Damn it.
But but your money rolls over. So you can buy stuff. So you can buy stuff from the store with the money that you have with the 62 gold.
That's more reasonable.
Yeah.
So time travel plus somebody's convincing Sora to be a bad guy.
They tried. He didn't because Disney. But yeah, that's why he's like weaker now. So you have a challenge in playing the game. But basically, he has to kind of go into these various worlds and try to figure out what the big evil plan is so that they can stop the big evil war. Kairi has a Keyblade and is training to be a master. Axel is human again, and he's on the good guy's side now because there was no way they were getting rid of that character. And then all the other organization members are back.
And Jesse McCartney is
dead.
Roxas is still dead, right?
As of right now, but they might. I don't fucking know what's going on. They leave these weird plot things at the end of all.
Where's Mickey Mouse now? Didn't he show up with the Keyblade? Wasn't he investigating someone?
So Mickey Mouse and Riku are out on the other world, the dark world, trying to find Aqua from Birth by Sleep.
I just like how convoluted this game with Mickey Mouse.
What was Birth by Sleep?
Birth by Sleep was a prequel that explains what Xehanort's deal was and what all of the damn games are about.
Wait, okay. I'm sorry. I just like how convoluted this game series that has Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse is.
Oh god, I haven't even told you the best damn part about all of this so far, right?
Why? Are Marvel characters in it now?
I mean, that's technically an option, but Square Enix has not said they want to.
The other thing is that there hasn't really been like a big one of these since the acquisition of Marvel and Disney Fox.
They got Marvel, they got Disney, and they got Marvel, they got Star Wars, and they got the Muppets all since the last one, right?
Legit, as soon as I heard Disney bought Star Wars, I was like, dude, that's gotta be.
Well, I mean, you know that they could do it because they fucking
so
in
good.
Kingdom Hearts 2, the reason that I was into Kingdom Hearts 2 was I'm like, oh my god, I can do a Nightmare Before Christmas and Pirates of the Caribbean level in this weird Final Fantasy style thing. That was all I cared about. I was at this point in my life where I didn't care about Disney or Final Fantasy, but I just kind of jumped in for those things. And then that kind of made me reflect positively on Disney again.
All right, so Evan, two more tips for you.
Yep.
First off, grab that torch that was in that.
Yeah, I see it.
Second off, you can now unlock stuff in the shop now. You don't have any money on you now, but you have some in the shop left over for you. And also, one of the cool things about this game is that this is a brand new dungeon that you've never seen before, but if you like this dungeon, before you start up a new game, you can say, hey, I like that dungeon again, I want to play it.
You want to replay it, I did see that was an option.
Yeah, that is the cool thing about this, so like, every time you play this, it's like playing a new set of levels, which I really like and appreciate. By the way, these altars, it depends on what you put in them, you might get something from them, it's really, I haven't really figured out how they work yet, and again, I've been playing this nonstop since September. I really haven't figured out what you do with these altars. You just get like a total nothing from their god, which is accurate.
Okay, so can I tell you my favorite things about they've revealed so far about the new part?
Please.
Okay.
Yeah, one of them better be Hank Hill is now in it.
No, but I will say that they have redesigned they've redesigned Riku to look basically exactly like Noctis from Final Fantasy 15. Which I because I just love that Nomura's given up.
No, why did they? Okay, that's why they did that, is because they gave up.
Because he spent like 15 years designing Final Fantasy 15 characters, and now at this point, that's all he can do. So like I don't know, I guess, but yeah, he looks like fucking Noctis, and his Keyblade is a car key.
Why?
Because you go to Cars World.
Because they somehow have not made a car key yet.
No, it's because he unlocks Lightning Queen.
And it looks more like a sword. It looks more like a sword than the Keyblade does.
You don't have any favorite sword right yet. Alright, so Travis, this is going to be a little difficult to keep going because I have not played any of the Final Fantasy games except for Final Fantasies 1, 6, and 7, and that's it.
That's it. That's all I wanted to say. Like, if you can just imagine a grown-ass man holding a giant car key, that's all you need to know to understand the joke.
Oh, yo, you got
his like greatest attack be called Kerchow.
You got a swing of the sword, my dude.
Anyway, the news story was that Monsters Inc. is one of the worlds now. Because Pixar was the other big acquisition in between games.
Yeah.
Yo, you got a good
I'm actually
weapon.
pretty hyped for that.
Yeah, I can tell.
I think
just
fighting like Randall, like invisible, heartless Randall.
But
Keep
so
looking
Travis,
keep looking through these bookshelves. By the way, it looks like there's some stuff in them.
Travis, I just really need to ask, what the fuck was that big CG cutscene after the credits of Kingdom Hearts 2 that was like, oh my god, there's like a Keyblade war?
Oh, yeah, like all the swords.
Yeah.
That's Birth by Sleep.
It's
It's Birth by Sleep and one of the mobile games.
Are you fucking kidding me? I thought that was gonna be Kingdom Hearts 3 when that came out.
No, that was Birth by Sleep the entire time.
Wow.
And in fact, Kingdom Hearts 3 is trying to prevent another one of those from happening.
Ugh.
Another
And
one
so,
of what? The
is
mobile
the fact that everything's Disney just like coincidental this whole time?
Yeah, they're all victims of this, basically.
Okay.
With the exception of the wizard from Fantasia being a master.
Oh yeah, Yensid.
And then the other Keyblade master is the word square, spelled backwards.
Of course it is.
Square. So it's
Araquis or something. I've never been able to say it correctly.
Arrakis.
I want you guys to know that I fucking love these games.
They sound ridiculous.
I have played every single one of them.
They are enjoyably ridiculous.
It just seems extremely... These games take themselves more seriously than they should.
Not only that, but their pacing is very slow.
It is bad.
Well, I think it's funny that, like, people go into...
Oh, you met the Fire Pumpkins.
It's like Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and Goofy and Peter Pan, and then you get into it.
Dies at one point.
Yeah.
I love these games. I love them so much. Anyway, Monsters Inc. in it. That's a good idea. I was saying forever that that's what they should do. Like, I didn't even want Toy Story, even though Toy Story now looks good now that I've seen it. But
so I probably had about like a half hour. So I really came onto this podcast just to fulfill our Cuomo quota.
Well, let's do that for a minute. Please. We've wasted enough time trying to.
All right, let me find you a song that's really.
Well, I just pulled up American Gigolo just because of like the name of that alone.
What is that from?
I don't even know.
I think that's a Maladroit.
Maladroit.
Oh,
Maladroit. Oh no! Ooh,
So
what I just this thing?
Just pure because of the. I'm trying to go by the cover, but I'm hoping it's good.
Wait, what's it called?
We do this.
It's called American Gigolo.
Of course it is.
Is this like the movie with Rob Schneider?
That's Male Gigolo, isn't it?
Oh, that's Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo? I thought it was American Gigolo.
American Gigolo is the one with Blondie's Comey in it.
Okay, well, here we go. So here we go. Here's our Cuomo quota. Sit down and quiet, everybody. You got a long way to go. I told you once before that, you better not stop the show. Keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on. Yeah. If you want me, you can't have me. But you've got to, please accept me. Back off now, baby, I'm a loner. You got a lot of things to see. I told you once before that, you better not take it from me. Keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Wow,
I hate this. If you hate this, I can't blame you. But I'm hurting.
Those lyrics?
Those are the lyrics. If you hate this,
I thought you were just being snarky.
No. This is Cuomo speaking. He knew that you'd object to this. If you hate this,
oh god, I'm burning.
I can't blame you.
I burned to death.
But, you had a strength potion, man.
Actually, Evan, this is perfect. But I'm hurting, so I'll flame you. Perfect timing. I've seen this game before. My love walks right to your door. There ain't no hope for me anymore. Ah ha 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 ha. Yeah. If you hate this, I can't blame you, but I'm hurting, so I'll flame you. I've seen this game before. My love walks right to your door. There ain't no hope for me anymore. Ah ha 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 ha. Yeah.
Oof.
Wow.
Rough.
Maybe buy a ration or some healing. I don't know. The stuff is up there that you can buy. That's all you have right now.
There's the Cuomo bit.
I did drop in another song that's like one of the worst songs he ever wrote in the chat. If you want to have a go at it, it's called Heart Songs.
What album is that from?
Oh, the Red Album, aka their worst record.
I don't know. Make Believe was pretty bad.
Sang a song about a boat that sank in the lake at the break of the morning. A cat named Stevens found a faith he could believe in. And Joan Baez, I never listened to too much jazz, but hippie songs could be heard in our pad. Eddie Rabbit sang about how much he loved a rainy night. ABBA, Devo, Benatar were the day John Lennon died. Mr. Springsteen said that he had a hungry heart. Grover Washington was happy on the day he topped the charts. These are those songs. These are my heart songs. They never feel wrong. And when I wake, for goodness sake, these are the songs I keep singing. Verse 2 by Cuomo. Quiet Riot got me started with the bangin' of my head. Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, and Slayer taught me how to shred. I gotta admit though, sometimes I would listen to the radio. Debbie Gibson, tell me what you think. It's just him, just like talking about everything else. Is he just like writing a song about his like shuffle on his iPod?
Who knows?
Michael Jackson's in the mirror. I gotta have faith if I want to see clear. Never gonna give you up. Did he literally say that? Did he literally quote? Did he Rickroll us in the middle of this fucking song? Never gonna give you up.
He's trying to replicate the sensation of listening to In the Garage, where it was like, I know that reference.
Wishing me love or wishing well, it takes two to make things go right. If the Fresh Prince starts a fight, it honestly it rhymes if you kind of read it as if you're Tommy Wiseau. It takes two things to make it go right. If the Fresh Prince starts a fight,
little chicken.
It's just a song full of a bunch of references. That's the entire thing.
I am not gonna kill this lizard.
I stepped away to get a Coke. Oh, so you're fighting the lizard, huh? Yeah, those aren't fun to kill.
The big lizards, yeah.
Yeah, you need a swing level sword to kill those things.
Oh god.
Alright, so I got about a half hour here. Just want to talk about Monster Hunter, because I can keep talking about that, or do people have important things to talking about?
Well, we do have a docket, but if you want to talk about Monster Hunter, since your review's going to be coming out soon.
Yeah, so I finally, beat it, and then immediately kept playing for, 5 more hours. That's just, it's my heroin.
Have you done the Ryu bit?
No, I don't have
I was going to ask you.
I don't have a Street Fighter save. I think you need, a bit of a file on your PlayStation.
Yeah, right now you have to have a save file from Street Fighter 5.
Yeah.
And I do, because I played it for a week. It's a temporary thing. So it's early access.
But I guess
which makes sense.
I mean, it makes sense that it's Capcom, I guess, but the fact that it's hey, let's just have Monster Hunter be like every other game too. Here's some Horizon Zero Dawn because we can.
I'm not against that.
No, I'm totally for it. I'm totally cool with Monster Hunter taking over every other game because it's taken over my life at this point. So why not?
Yeah, the Ryu bits, you don't have to be very high level, but it's hard to do as a single player. I was like, shit, I need to find somebody who suffered through Street Fighter 5.
Wait, okay, if you started the quest, could I theoretically join you? Or would I have to have it too?
You'd still have to have the data as far as I know, because I don't think you will even be able to see it on your quest list.
Well then, you're SOL, buddy.
Nah, dude, you just gotta go to a red box and
plop into Street Fighter 5.
Rent Street Fighter 5 Arcade Edition and play it for the 20 seconds it takes to save the game, and then return it.
Okay.
Is that
just so I can play Monsters?
And if you think that's not worth it, I want you to know that I was able to play enough of Star Wars Battlefront 2 to give it a scathing review. on a 60-cent rental from Redbox.
Hey man, that's all I need.
This is a tough dungeon, huh?
Yeah, you got the beetle that shoots magic missile, and you got one of the trolls. Those are two of my the hardest for me common enemies in the game. Aside from the uniques that are in the dungeon, they are not fun to
was that
whittle
a
down.
healing trap?
No, you just use one of your potions because you got hit by a magic missile trap.
Okay, that's what I thought.
But one of the things about Monster Hunter that I've been thinking about ever since I turned in my review, because I said that like as you play, like you realize the monsters have like more personality than the actual human characters, because they're all nameless. The humans, there's like the handler.
They have titles.
Field team leader, like his first name is Field, last name Leader. Like,
Wow.
But all the animals have names. There's like Nergigante, and there's Devil Joe and Odogaron, and all these other guys, Basil Goose, and and
yeah, you can tell where the effort went into.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, they're the stars of the show, but like even the monsters have more personality, and like you almost like come to like you get to know them by like their habits and the way they attack you and the way they interact with other monsters.
I can't believe that one of the enemies in this game, the heroes in this game, is named Basil Goose.
I mean, technically, I think they said you're supposed to pronounce it like Basil Goose, but
Basil Goose.
It's Basil Goose.
Basil Goose.
I call him the Goose. It's just, and he's the worst. He is my Moby Dick. Because he's the one monster who can show up anywhere in any of the maps, and he specifically shows up when you're fighting someone else, and he just crashes in, and he drops bombs. He literally drops bombs. He has tendrils under his wings and tail that fall and then explode while you're dealing with other people. They call him the B-52.
Of course they do.
But I call him the Goose.
Is he a rock lobster?
He's rock lobster. Actually, he kind of does look like a rock lobster. He's just kind of this big stony dude with wings, and he's just a big old dumbass. But that's what I mean. That like I feel like video games more than any other medium, like have like enemies that have more personality and that you grow attached to. All
right, Evan, you can either pray for help or you can jump into that chasm. You pick the less fun choice.
Oh.
Well, I mean, the one that won't kill you, but I mean, it just dropped you right by the exit. Hey, that's good for you.
Hey, I'm
like I don't know how far you've gotten into it yet, Travis, but like I'm sure at this point you have like your monster that you just like the look of and you feel bad about killing, and then you have your monster that you just absolutely hate, and so you relish.
I've played a lot of these, and I think I just always enjoy the Rathalos, but I guess I'm a terrible person because I never feel the guilt of killing these things. Like, video games have trained enough out of me to know this is an enemy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not like that. I'll still do it. Like, there's monsters like the Tobi Kadachi, who's basically just like a big old Pikachu. And he kind of just chills, and he's actually like helped me fight the Anjanath multiple times.
Alright, so you need to find an owl statue to open that door.
But then there's Basil Goose, who likes to interrupt everything else you're doing and make it all about him. And there's at some point, Travis, like after you beat the game and you're just leveling up like with experience points. There's like random missions that gate off like other missions, and one of these missions you have to kill 2 tempered Basil Goose, and it's chaos. It's like trying to fight 2 B-52s who also like to attack each other and also like to attack everything else on the map, and also all their bombs kill you in one hit. So,
that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, you can let them kill each other and then sort of chill, but then their Basil Goose battle will quickly involve you as well, because Basil Goose doesn't care if you're a conscientious conscientious objector, Basil Goose brings the war to you. I basically came on this podcast to say fuck Basil Goose.
If you say Basil Goose's name in the mirror, does he appear?
Basil Goose, I hope not.
Like the
I never want him to appear.
Alright, so...
Does he only appear in like 20 minutes of the movie and that's it?
Ooh, this frame.
Gareth Edwards can't make a monster movie.
As it turns out, Gareth Edwards can't really do anything.
He can make a well-staged shot.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Rogue One.
I thought Rogue One was an adequate film. I didn't feel like I
thought it was
wasted my
bad.
money.
I just thought it was straight up bad.
Yo,
I never want to watch it again, but I didn't feel like I wasted my money.
Hallway scene, though.
No. You've seen better scenes with a CGI Darth Vader in the video games.
Yeah, but he wasn't CGI. He was there.
No, yeah, I gotta admit, the ending is amazing and everything that in my childhood mind Darth Vader was, but that doesn't redeem the fact that Gareth Edwards can't pace a movie to save his damn life.
What else has he
It
done?
doesn't save the movie.
These frames are dropping like a madman.
Yeah, what's up with your frames, my dude?
I don't know. It's just kind of actually the game's kind of frozen.
Oh, you did the game freeze? That is one of the issues with this game a little bit, is that it has a tendency to lock up. I have been in touch with the dev of this game, and he has been fixing it. Props to him. But I guess this would be a good place to change the game.
Oh.
Okay.
What's on the news docket? That's like the.
Do we want to do the weekly microtransaction report?
Yes.
Okay, the weekly microtransaction report. So loot boxes are still a thing in video games. They're not going away.
No.
But the law is, looking at them still, because when you cause enough of a fuss that Star Wars fans start getting involved, even regular sane people have to pay attention to it.
Yeah.
So there is a federal level senator poking at the ESA and the ESRB, which are the same thing. Spoilers. But they want them to review the rating process. So they basically want them to put a warning on the ratings for video games about loot boxes. And they also want the ratings board to conduct a study that I'm sure, because they're just the ESA, won't I'm sure it will be fair and reasonable and not be a heavy endorsement of microtransactions, or maybe just the transcript of this week's extra credits. Who knows?
Yeah,
who knows? But yeah, so right now they're just asking the ratings board to do it on their own. I'm sure that will go well. There's it's the beginning of one of these things. I will say, though, it's from a Democratic senator, so I can at least say money probably hasn't changed hands yet, question mark. But we'll see how that goes. I'm very curious to see what the ESRB says about loot boxes when the gun's put to their head.
Well, I'm wondering how, actually, substantial this would even be. Would it just be, a list of, in the list where next to T or M?
Yeah, that's what this would probably manifest as.
And to be honest, it would be a nice gesture if the ESRB and the law is we should at least be upfront about this. This is a serious thing,
and we should clarify. This always.
Does anybody actually look at those words?
Not the people who should.
Yeah, right.
But it does have enough of an impact. I mean, that's why you can't just go buy an adults only game. Yeah. You know what I mean? It still has enough of an impact. What I imagine the senator is thinking is that they want to persuade the ESRB to raise the rating of a game with loot boxes in it.
Yeah.
So if we use the most famous example of Star Wars Battlefront 2, that team could become an M because it has loot boxes.
Would that make Overwatch an M?
In theory, yes.
That'd be significant.
Or it gets its own rating.
Or it gets its own rating. That is
technically
like a teen plus is something.
T plus, yeah.
M or just M for money instead of M.
Well, yeah. Okay, so going back to our Kingdom Hearts example, did you know? Here's one for you. Did you know that the first game to get an E10 plus rating was
Shadow
Kingdom
the
Hearts
Hedgehog?
2? Right. It was Kingdom Hearts 2 because Pirates of the Caribbean was in it.
Right.
And the very presence of Jack Sparrow, who was perpetually drunk, warranted a new rating because there was no way in heck anybody was going to be happy with that getting a team. So
remember,
I was so sure that it was Shadow the Hedgehog.
I'm pretty sure it's Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts predates Shadow, doesn't it?
I think it was the same year, 2005, right?
Yeah. Shadow the Hedgehog. God.
Literally, the E10 rating for that was just him going, "Damn!" all the time.
So basically, it was like it was to game ratings what Red Dawn was to movies, because Red Dawn was the first PG-13 movie.
No, Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom was, yeah.
Temple of... No, what, really? Well, let me check.
Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom, 1983.
Each other's sources.
Let me check that. I think it's Red Dawn.
I've heard Temple of Doom.
Hey, news organizations, politicians, this is how this works. Hey, hang on, let me check that. Anyway, so the thing about the rating board...
Edition of... The first film to be released with the PG-13 rating was, Red Dawn.
What?
When was that?
Temple of Doom and Gremlins. Temple of Doom and Gremlins were the reason why it happened, because they were both rated PG.
Oh, okay. Well, then they were swiftly made.
PG-13 on home video. Yeah. In fact, it was Steven Spielberg who suggested the idea of the PG-13 movie in the first place.
Because of So
because kids were going to see Temple of Doom and Gremlins and getting scared. Yeah.
Say.
Yeah.
I mean, kids went to go see Jaws too, if I recall correctly. Not that I'm old, but
well, Spielberg has a weird belief about his own movies being scary. Like he thinks Jurassic Park is the scariest thing ever, and it's not.
To be fair, I liked it a lot as a kid, but then when I watch it again as an adult, I'm like, wait, there's a lot of interesting horror movie stuff that got into this movie that just millions of kids watched.
Yeah, I enjoyed every second of it.
There's men ripping out hearts of other men.
Oh, I wasn't allowed to watch Temple of Doom until I was older. It was always a case-by-case basis in my household.
On the subject of people ripping out each other's hearts, that's probably my cue to go.
Okay.
All right.
Enjoy your dark ritual.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
See you on the D&D podcast later on.
Hell yeah! Well, there's gonna be some interesting shit.
We gave away the MacGuffin.
You gave away the MacGuffin, and then yeah. I'm still thinking about how that's gonna work.
Were you expecting us to do that?
In the back of my mind, I always thought, they might, just do something with this.
Doesn't every DM think in the back of their mind, how are they going to fuck this up?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, you let the evil character and the chaotic neutral character be alone with your MacGuffin. So
yeah, that's your fault.
None of the good characters said, "Hey, give me that." So they
all forgot we had it.
Yeah, I feel. Yeah, so the question is do I throw the main story back into your face, or I just say fuck it. I guess the city's just burning while you're robbing.
Just always ask yourself, how are they gonna fuck it up?
Yep. So I'll figure that out, and all right. Good luck, guys.
Yep. Have a good night.
Have a good one.
All right. So anyway, thing to remember about the ESRB is that again they are independent. They are formed by the ESA. It is in their best interest to be pro-industry. So, yeah. I don't expect much from that, to be honest. I mean, they'll make some concessions to get the law off their ass, but yeah. Did you guys see that extra credits video? I think I was talking about it before.
No, I didn't actually watch it.
I have not paid attention to extra credits ever. Who were they?
They're not bad.
But they have a weird stance on this subject.
They work in the industry. Like, there are a bunch of people who have made games and like work. They're industry people. So I mean, it's in their interest to be pro industry. You know what I mean? Like, how to put the status quo benefits them professionally. In a way that it does kind of color where they're coming from versus, like, say, a pundit or someone like myself who has to go off of, second or third hand knowledge on things and never gets to look at a budget sheet because, heaven forbid, any of these games talk about how much they actually cost to be made. But yeah, Extra Credits started this whole series about how much games actually cost and everything, and yeah, I mean, it's a lot of what you've probably heard, but they really pinnacled it with this loot box video. Their argument was, as long as they're done in a quote unquote ethical way, they should be welcomed and celebrated.
Is gambling considered ethical though?
Well, they spend a chunk of the video saying that there's not enough studies to prove that it's actually gambling, and then immediately go to point out that loot boxes exploit the exact same research of B.F. Skinner that slot machines do. So it's like, I mean, sure, yeah, I guess we haven't had a lot of professional papers, but I mean, what the hell did you just say? You know what I mean?
I mean, like, there's a difference between the arguments that are made about, say, Pokemon cards or baseball cards being gambling and these fucking loot boxes.
Oh god, okay, so here we go, because they do that right out of the gate, right?
They do, don't they? Oh my god.
They lead with it. They actually say that the idea for this business model didn't come from the mobile industry, which it absolutely fucking did, but it came from the idea of Magic the Gathering booster packs, because Magic the Gathering booster packs used to be really, really profitable. And I'm like, well, they were, but that was... Magic the Gathering's 25 this year, so this would have been about 15 years ago. And, 2, when I open a pack of Magic at, like, Draft or whatever, I can do whatever I want with those after the fact. I can't even buy Overwatch on the PC, log into my same Blizzard account as my PS4 copy of the game, and use my skins. Like, you can't just take a physical items business model, transplant it wholesale over to a digital product that's locked behind multiple paywalls.
Also, you didn't pay $60 to start up your Magic the Gathering set, as you would paying $60 for a video game.
For Overwatch. No, yeah. I always use Overwatch because that's the one that everybody's like, oh, that's the okay one. So that's the one that I use as my baseline for examples for this. Because Battlefront, everybody's like Battlefront shit, but people are pretty okay with Overwatch, so I like illustrating the point with that one. But, I mean, like, there's just no ownership. And when there's no ownership, the constant repetitive paying in to get fuck all is just not... I mean, the exchange is just not the same. Like, even in a casino, you can cash out. You can cash out, you can get whatever you got, whether you ended up losing your money or... Like, you can stop and get something out of it. If Overwatch ever goes off the servers, that's fucking gone. Like, you're not getting that back. Like, it's lost. And since it's just cosmetic and it's not gameplay impacting, like... Did you really get anything out of it in the first place? Like, I mean, or is it a critical part of the game that they're locking behind a roulette wheel? Like, if we want to talk about the ethical implications of that, that's the ethical implication of it.
Now, what are your thoughts about Jim Sterling's argument, which is on the complete other side from what I guess Extra Credits is?
Because Extra Credits done a video.
You dropped that, bud.
Yeah, sorry, I had to mute it for a second. Something got on my Mac and I had to get it off. I think he's mostly spot on in terms of how we view it, especially because, like, thanks to this industry, the idea that any corporation has the best interests of art or the player base in mind is pretty much drained to zero, even without but at the same time, I mean, like, him and even just the regular old person, you know, the regular old person trying to analyze this, we don't have the information. And until people are candid enough to answer questions like, why does Activision have $4 billion in profits off of microtransactions alone? How does that square with, we need to keep selling you a ceilingless payment model to keep this online game turned on? And then also we're going to put that same ceilingless payment model into this Call of Duty game that we're going to replace in a year and completely basically invalidate any money you put into it anyway. Like how does all of that square and not come out looking shady? I mean, if it's really costing too much money to make these games, that $4 billion of straight profit is just automatically getting blown away. You probably shouldn't be making games anymore, but I know that's bullshit because Activision's pockets are deep right now.
It just feels to me like, the only AAA company that isn't pulling this shit is Nintendo.
It's because they haven't needed to. Their pockets have been lined from the Pokemon Company for years.
Yeah, the thing about Nintendo is that they do have games with microtransactions and not just the mobile games. But more importantly than that is Nintendo as a corporate entity has a different business theory than your EAs, your Activisions, or even better comparison, your Square Enix or to a lesser degree your Sonys. Nintendo is significantly more interested in maintaining business, and that's still because it's still mostly a family business, whereas all of these other companies are public companies.
Yeah.
A huge chunk of Nintendo is still basically owned and operated, by a close-knit group of investors, a close-knit group of family members.
Whereas, Trip Hawkins no longer owns the EA, the people who started Activision off of Atari aren't with Activision anymore. I'm pretty sure none of the original creative team of Blizzard is with that company anymore either.
Yeah, well, a couple of people who were there needed to go anyway. And I'm really mad that I remembered that Mark Kern exists. But it's just one of those things where you've got just a different mindset. So, as more and more of the auteurs and family members on the Nintendo side cease to be, it's inevitable. Nintendo's going to get pulled that way. I think the fact that the people who are actually still in that company doing the work, like your Miyamoto's and his people and everything, the fact that they can still turn success out is what's keeping that from ultimately happening. But eventually, unless Miyamoto can actually and Kimishima, the president, can start installing newer successors to that idea, it'll happen. That shift will happen for them too, and it sucks, but that's probably how that goes.
Yeah, I do wonder what Nintendo's future is after Miyamoto retires.
Well, he's setting. We've got Koizumi, who basically is already set up as a successor. He was the director of Super Mario Odyssey. Mm-hmm. And he's been the guy who's done all the Nintendo Directs. And
Aonuma's been the lead on Zelda for years.
Yeah, but they've had like him and Koizumi out in public a lot, and I think a huge part of why is because one of these days Miyamoto is just going to either retire or pass away, and I think Miyamoto even kind of knows that because he's talked a lot in interviews about his legacy. Like significantly, even like when doing promo stuff for Star Fox Zero, he was talking a lot more about his design theories and what he wanted to leave behind and who he's teaching and all of that than, the particular game or his next project or anything like that. You know what I mean? So, we'll see what happens when that bridge eventually gets crossed, but. At least for now, Nintendo won the battle with their investors in terms of the Switch, So at least that will be okay for a little while.
Yeah. Do you think
they want to fight?
This has nothing to do with anything, but do you think the Switch is the last console Nintendo will ever release?
No, we'll probably get 2 more variations on the Switch.
Well, no, like the Switch family of consoles. Is this the last generation of dedicated game consoles?
I think that it's kind of a new beginning of the concept of what a console is, I would say. Because, I mean, I think a lot of people like what a console can be. It's just kind of like, oh, well, PCs do a certain kind of game, but people are realizing that the games that are exclusive to PCs, they'd much rather play wherever the hell they want.
If you're gonna laugh at this, but if you want to see, if you ask me if you want to see where things are gonna go down the line and whatever that next generation looks like, Nintendo is trying to reverse engineer the future, but they're kind of catching on to that, the simplicity of being able to beam content between devices. I mean, the Switch is, is a glorified docking station, basically, to decide what screen you want to put your game on. And so they kind of reverse engineered that in a Nintendo-esque way. But if you want to see the company who's going to try to push that line a little bit further and get something, my money's on Microsoft. Because they have the means to do what Valve wanted to do. And that's get a device into people's homes that is just a beaming box for content, and it also happens to be a video games machine. And maybe you keep that Xbox brand name on it just for recognition. Because for a while I thought it was going to be Sony who takes that shot, but the PlayStation 4 is basically keeping that company afloat, so that's not going to happen. But, I mean, eventually the idea of a $400 dedicated gaming console that just also happens to have Netflix installed on it is just not going to be a feasible thing. Not when I can pay $35, get a Chromecast, plug it into any TV that I've got, and beam content between the device that I keep in my pocket at all times,
or
forever.
buy a Sony TV, and that kind of device is built into the goddamn TV now. Because you got Android built into them.
Or you buy like something else that doesn't take up your cell phone battery.
Absolutely. And so, seeing as Microsoft has got their Game Pass out, they're moving away from splitting their player base on the PC and the Xbox, and the fact that they need something to really rejuvenate the brand. I would genuinely think that they're going to look at some sort of device that functions similar to the Switch, but maybe in a way that gives you more freedom to beam between screens. Especially since they already have basically the operating system to integrate into a PC.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my money's on Microsoft taking the first shot. I mean, the Xbox One, I guess, could be considered the first shot at that, trying to make a multimedia box instead of a gaming console. The big difference is how much of that convenience is going to be worth the trade-off. The Xbox One was not convenient. That's what it all came down to. The Switch is super convenient. People are buying digital games for that like crazy, and there's not even a cloud backup system for that yet. You know what I mean? So, if Microsoft can do what Sony did and screw up a generation and then bounce back, we could start to see the pivot away from dedicated machines.
Mm-hmm.
Will Nintendo pivot entirely? Probably not, because they make fairly unique hardware. But we'll get there.
And they've also had this windfall from the NES and SNES Classic as well.
That's true.
And then there's meanwhile there is Atari still wanting to put out that goddamn Atari box.
I had forgotten about that.
I'm the only person in the world who remembers the Atari box.
You are.
Who was looking to see what the heck Atari is allegedly doing this time.
The decrepit monster that's wearing Atari's flesh.
Yes, that one, the one that is ruining all that I hold dear in terms of both Atari and Roller Coaster Tycoon. Yes, exactly.
So that little pivot was weird.
Sure was. Welcome to What the D-Pad. This is a podcast that's full of weird pivots.
Do we want to hit anything else?
I mean,
what else do we got?
Nothing super friggin'. It's all blood boiling for you, Travis.
Did we talk?
Did we talk about just very passive news?
Did we talk about Spyro Live?
Oh, so yeah, Spyro the Dragon, the originals might get remastered a la Crash Bandicoot. It's rumor right now, but that would be cool.
Well, the rumor is also courtesy of Laura Kate Dale, who is usually never wrong with this stuff.
Has a pretty good track record, yeah.
Yeah,
she does. She's super nervous though because apparently this is several months out. So now it's like, oh, is it real? Is it not? So there's like a super amount of stress on that. So I want it to go her way just because, that would be good. But I want Spyro back. Here's the question though: if they're gonna bring back the classic Spyro, what happens to Skylanders? Is that the bell?
It's just dead. The Toys to Life genre is dead, man.
I forgot all about Skylanders.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, Skylanders is technically a Spyro the Dragon spin-off, so
wow.
Which I didn't even realize until years after its innovation.
So yeah, and I mean I know a lot of families that actually really adore Skylanders as a game. So it's kind of a shame, but I mean, again, it's that Activision trying to squeeze as much money.
Skylanders was made by Toys for Bob, the Star Control guys. Wow. Yeah. Good for them.
It's not a bad game. It's not a bad franchise. But Activision loves squeezing fucking money out of people.
Yeah, that's Activision for you. Ironic considering their origins, but what can you do?
So what I was saying, once you shift into that full corporate mindset, it's profit, profit, profit.
Yep, complete betrayal of exactly why Activision was founded in the first place.
Sure was.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I actually would be totally into Spyro the Dragon, and I'd probably buy it for PS4 too, so I'm glad the rumor says that it's going to be there first. So, that'll be great. I'm into that.
What else is there in terms of stuff from that PS1 era that is going to be that's left to remaster?
I'm trying to think of things that aren't licensed. Well, Metal Gear Solid 1, but that's never going to happen now.
Yeah, it's been remastered before though, hasn't it?
On the GameCube. And it was never re-released.
I mean, it's not going to happen now because Yeah.
It was on the PlayStation 3. The original PS1 version was just upscaled and re-released on the PS3 marketplace, but it's a PS1 game.
I'm pretty sure the only thing left that Sony hasn't remastered from the PS1 or 2 is Katamari Damacy.
That would actually be a good one.
But you don't really need to. You just gotta upscale it.
People would eat it up, though.
Yeah, they would.
Katamari Damacy is the one and only PlayStation 2 game I've ever completed.
If Nier Automata had really taken off in popularity, they could have done Drakengard.
Nier Automata did do really well.
So they could do a Drakengard remaster. It's not that the third one is apparently any good.
That's
the first two.
That's up to Square Enix, though.
Yeah.
And I mean, Square Enix can do good things like remaster Final Fantasy XII really well, and then they can do bad things like fuck up Secret of Mana.
Or whatever the hell the Bravest was.
Speaking of good remasters, the Bayonetta double pack is getting stellar reviews.
I mean, it's just Bayonetta 2, and Bayonetta 2 is great. So
and Bayonetta 1, which is also great.
Sure is.
It's also the second re-release of Bayonetta
1. So it's on the Switch now. That makes it special.
Exactly right. I'm just trying to think. I'm playing the game, but I'm also scrolling through here. Oh yeah, Travis, the Dragon Ball FighterZ thing.
Oh yeah. So yeah, the player base dropped by 80% on Steam. But here's what I read this on multiple sites. I think only I can't even remember if Kotaku actually reported on it, but like when you say a player base dropped off on Steam, there's a couple of things to factor in there.
Yes.
One, like 1.5 billion games come out on Steam daily, and two, this is not the primary platform for fighting games.
No.
Like Steam numbers aren't really a good unless you have a massive extreme like the Marvel vs. Capcom situation. Like, it's not a good indicator of what's actually happening.
Has the PC ever been like a primary thing for fighting games?
Nah,
there are a few indie fighters that are popular, like Brawlhalla's popular.
Dropkick.
Dropkick.
But I don't hear people talk about, specifically playing the new Street Fighter or what have you on
no,
PC.
it's all console because console is parity. So, like, hardware doesn't become a factor in that.
Yeah.
So, like, if you go to a fighting tournament, no matter where what you've practiced on, if you go to a fighting game tournament, it's going to be a console. And in most cases, it's a PlayStation right now. For several reasons, but
yeah, I've always kind of stood by when I played a fighting game that, other than playing certain stuff like Smash and Soul Calibur 2, where I preferred a GameCube controller, I never thought an Xbox controller felt right for a fighting game. It just never did.
They fixed the 360 controller about halfway through its life and gave it this like convertible D-pad that you could like turn and it would get higher. That made fighting games.
Honestly, it was the button layout. I like the button layout for a fighting game on a PlayStation.
The PlayStation controller has those flat buttons, so it's pretty nice for that.
Yeah. I always kind of felt like that.
And notably, the PlayStation has a setting where you can plug in your PlayStation controller and then change it to accept input instead of over the wireless, over the cable, which is huge for fighting game fans.
But yeah, I mean, I remember from the days of fighting games not having the world's greatest ports onto PC back in the 90s, that it's just never been.
It's still a hit and a miss, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, like I remember when Street Fighter 4, I think it was, came out on Steam, and it just wasn't a very good port, and it cost way too much.
I mean, dude, Mortal Kombat X didn't even really work.
Mortal Kombat Trilogy, the first 3 Mortal Kombat games didn't really work on the PC, and you can still buy that thing on GOG.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just like, when people say, oh, a fighting game's numbers dropped off on Steam, I'm like, that doesn't tell you anything about the game. It just tells you that people don't want to play a fighting game on the PC.
I think it's just a factor of both, and I wouldn't even be surprised if we see it spike around DLC periods or anything like that. Like, it'll probably happen. But again, like, if Sony shared numbers of how many people were playing it on PlayStation, I'm sure you'd have a very, consecutive number.
I mean, but yeah, like the stuff that I'm trying to look up my own Steam library, and I think I only have one fighting game on Steam, and it's Garou Mark of the Wolves, the SNK game. That's a really bad port.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
Yeah, it's just, I take the idea of a game not doing well by not selling well on Steam, and it's a fighting game with a grain of salt.
I like playing local co-op with people and competitive, versus couch co-op stuff, so I buy physical console copies of fighting games usually for that reason. So I've never played them on the PC just out of, convenience.
By the way, to backtrack on there, if you're listening to this and you're thinking of buying Garou Mark of the Wolves by SNK on the PC, please don't. The input lag is really bad on that game, and it deserves so much better than that awful port. Thanks.
I promise you no one is.
What, listening to this podcast?
No, but thinking about buying
that game.
Mark of the Wolf.
Honestly, both.
Alright, anything else, or should we just let Evan keep playing his game about how religion is bad, kinda, sorta?
Well, we can talk about that.
We don't want to be here all night.
Yeah.
Well, we can talk about the other thing that involves that's in here. You said you had a thing about it.
I had a thing about the thoughts and prayers moment in the game?
No, about the governor of Kentucky blaming video games for the school shooting.
Oh yeah, no, okay, so I love that we have done this dance so many times that they're digging out the old playbooks to avoid having conversations.
I thought we were done talking about this in like 2010.
Are they gonna like start blaming the Nine Inch Nails again for these now?
Yeah.
We might come all the way around. Like, watch, Far Cry 5 is gonna come out next month, and they're gonna be like, see? This is what causes gun violence! Because it's attacking conservatives! I guarantee it's gonna happen.
Fuck me.
Just... No, you hit the nail on the head there, Evan.
Yep, and I mean, nothing's gonna come of it, it's just excuses. I mean...
It's also Kentucky.
It's also Kentucky.
Yeah. Let me see what else. I'm like, friggin' Robin's drowning right now. I'm like, what other news is there? Ooh.
Speaking of, Travis, you did publish your review of Iconoclasts in the past 24 hours.
Yeah, it's
this afternoon, actually.
This afternoon, yeah. What are, now that you've played the game, that you've reviewed it, can you summarize a bit about your review and your thoughts of the game for the podcast?
It is very much a like love letter to the Genesis Mega Drive era of games specifically. I tried to highlight that in the review a bit, just because I think there's stuff in this game that Nintendo wouldn't have said was okay.
Oh yeah, the line that particularly affected you, that would have never flown in a Nintendo game.
Not 90s Nintendo, no, definitely not. I mean, nowadays Nintendo helps publish Bayonetta, so I think they've gotten over that. But like, with the exception of The Binding of Isaac, I have not seen a game just show up and be like, you know, religion as a construct is kind of damaging and can leave a lot of just chaos in its wake. You know what I mean? And like, even The Binding of Isaac does it in the form of subtext and references. Iconoclasts, like, from the title on the way down, just is that all the way through. And it doesn't look like it when you're playing it, but it pretty much just starts going and doesn't stop.
You also had kind of alluded to BioShock Infinite in your review, and I mean, there is kind of a similar aspect in that regard.
Yeah.
Where you have this really nice, really technical art direction, but then you have those undertones, those pieces of subtext that are definitely recognizable to the people that will recognize them off the bat. I mean, obviously that game's a little bit more kind of like...
Yeah, the thing with Infinite that stuck out to me is Infinite straight up, like, in the beginning, starts talking about, you know, Bible verses. It starts quoting this, you know, sect of Christianity, almost kind of like what Far Cry 5 is going for, surprisingly. And making, you know, even the idea of baptism and salvation, like these ideas it wants to talk about, but it keeps them so vague and on the sidelines about what the game actually is. You know, because they want to do other stuff, and that's fine. Just a lot of games do the dancing around it, and this one didn't, and that was impressive to me.
Yeah, I was not expecting this game to have such a lot to say about religious hypocrisy and
I do want to say it's not like watching an atheist YouTuber.
It's more like it's less like that, and it's more like I don't know if this reference is going to fly over a lot of people's heads, but it's like listening to a Daniel Amos album.
That flew right over my head. I'll be honest. I'm not cultured.
They were a Christian alternative band who did these 4 albums.
How do I not know that?
That specifically like attacked religious hypocrisy and organized religion and televangelism in the 80s.
That's why.
Yeah. They were like the Christian XTC or Talking Heads, basically.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's what that obscure band is kind of what this game kind of reminds me of what it has to say.
Yeah, and I do want to stress, like, it's not Faith is dumb, because, like, while all of this stuff is happening, there's an entire other subplot with some of the cast members going on, and the game chooses to end on that subplot, and it involves a certain subset of the internet's favorite thing, queer ladies of color, kind of coming to terms.
Sarcasm.
No, that wasn't sarcasm. Like,
wasn't?
No, like, there are certain people, if I started telling them, like, oh, this little adorable game here has a couple of queer girls in there, not white, people will be like, oh, really? Yeah, let me play this game.
I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about gamers on the internet.
Oh no, yeah. No, Iconoclast did get hit with the "is this an SJW" thing.
I saw those Steam
sure.
things, yeah.
Yeah, spoilers, it totes is. And they're not a part of the same set, religious organization that kind of controls the primary world in this game. But they have more of a, to put it into a parlance that we hear all the time, they have a belief and almost a worship of the family unit, the idea of, getting married, having children. I mean, I live in Utah, so that's what literally affects our entire culture.
Yeah.
And this game, you've got these two queer women who are very close in this culture, and the game manages to, not without a lot of words, or anything like that, just kind of reconcile some of that at the end. And it's a significantly positive way to end that on. Just that, hey, believing in stuff is not dumb or bad. It's just when it can be used to harm people. And the actual final boss fight has some incredibly like dense subtext with it, which is weird because the rest of the game doesn't use subtext basically at all. Yeah, it's regarding all of that too, and just like what's a good way to believe in something and also not ruin everybody's life with it, kind of. And I don't want to. So I'm not gonna.
When I saw this game being streamed, I thought, oh hey, this would be a thing that Travis would like. I didn't think that it would be, it would affect you.
It would be literal, it would be like literal drugs into my system. Yeah, I didn't.
They were made for you, yeah.
I saw the developer actually tweeting out about review codes. I think Mother's Basement retweeted him, and I was like, oh, it's a Metroidvania game. This is Evan's jam. So. I tagged him in for it originally.
Shit. And then lo and behold, here we are.
Yeah, and it's a really well crafted game. I think more than anything else,
and that's the other thing is that it has all of that, and it's one thing if it had all of that, but it also stands on its legs as simply a platformer.
It is stellar as just a platformer with some cool abilities, some really cool boss fights. I'm looking at where you're at right now. You haven't hit some of the cool stuff yet. They're very involving and rewarding boss fights, but I really never felt like the game was trying to overpower me at any point, or discourage me. It was very well paced and well balanced, and there's nothing but praise that I could give to something that polished.
Yeah, and you gave, and I don't have the site up yet, but you gave it like a 9 or it was an 8. What stopped it from being a 9 or a 10 for you?
Okay, so the tweaks really damaged my view of it a little bit. The game is incredibly well polished, but you can make these modifications to Robin to give her different abilities or buffs in combat or things like that. And they also serve as the actual abilities, and then the materials to craft them are basically the primary collectible in the game. They're literally all that you can do. When the game ends, it tells you how much percentage of them you found. That's all it can tell you. And they're incredibly fragile. If you take damage, the first one will crack immediately, and you don't get that one's benefits until you get what you need to repair it. Mm-hmm. And it's just you get all these upgrades, you unlock all the stuff, you get it all equipped and everything, but you are never going to be at a point where you're actually getting the full benefit of that, and it almost discourages you to bother looking for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm way more interested in what the game's actually doing, in the story, than I am in exploring these nook and crannies for these powers where half of them I'm not going to use. And I guess I was a little spoiled, because before I played this, I finished up SteamWorld Dig 2, which has kind of a similar upgrade system, where it loads you with these upgrades, and you have to get, you solve puzzles and stuff within the world to get the materials to equip them. And you have to pick and choose how much resources you use to get a power. It's just significantly more balanced, and you get your full benefits without it having breaking just because you got hit or something. It's just you will get hit in Iconoclast, so you're just never getting your full benefit, and that just kind of sucks. And then the other thing that I kind of had a problem with was that the main character doesn't talk.
Yeah, so it kind of doesn't really help with the characterization, where all the others are done so well.
Yeah, in the game, when the game ends, it's just you and her, and then the final section of the game. So you get all of this dump and all of this last minute philosophical thinking and conflict and stuff, and you only know about her what other people have said out loud, and it's almost like they're telling her how to be. Or they're projecting onto her, and it's not really what's happening. She's a silent protagonist.
But it's not a part of the narrative that they're doing that. It's just
she's a silent protagonist because the games of this era are silent protagonists. That's why you're supposed to project onto her, so she's a silent protagonist. But you get to the end, and you have to, all of a sudden this characterization bursts out. And it involves everything right down to the final line, the final spoken line in the game, which isn't hers either. And it feels a little jarring. And it's if we had gotten to know more about her specifically, besides just what other people said, I feel like that would have done that would have done a great service. We only have so many women in games as characters in the first place. How many of them need to have their characterizations explained by a bunch of dudes? You know what I mean? That, it just was not my favorite bit. It's by no means a deal breaker. There's so much about this that's ambitious and full of life and energy that, it takes a couple of really long shots on the basketball court and it misses. It happens. But
there we go.
I will be missing something there about this one for a while. I don't know if I'll be preaching about it like I do Night in the Woods, because that's still coming to mobile, and I'm going to be shoving it down everybody's throat again. But
is this going to be a game that when we do our end of the year podcast, you'll be talking about?
I'm definitely going to make an effort to make sure I remember it, yeah.
We'll see how that goes 10 months down the line.
Yeah. I mean, your endorsement of it, then Evan digging it, and then the people who I watch and give money to watch on Twitch.
And the guy who made it is talking about working to get it to the Switch. So I do expect a resurgence of this game. For this. So. Absolutely. And I mean, he started development almost a decade ago, so it does not shock me that there's not a Switch version. I have no problems with it on the PC. It ran perfectly fine on the PC for me. But if getting a Switch version out 8 to 9 months down the road, even a year down the road, we could definitely see a resurgence of this, which would be great. A couple of other really good platforms.
Axiom Verge got on the Switch, and that came out in 2015, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But before I saw anything about this game, the one thing that I knew about it was how long it took for the guy to make it.
One guy, the entire time.
Yep. A decade.
Oh, that reminds me briefly. If anybody saw my interview with the creative lead of Genesis Noir, which will, I'm sure, be my obsession of 2019, they got funded. So we're gonna see that game, and I will gush about that when that does happen. I'm gonna give them money though, because the Kickstarter's still going, so I can't review it. There's your disclosure right now.
Understood.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah, like, I totally get it. Like, there was a record that I loved, and I put on my Pazenjop list, but I couldn't review it because I gave money to the crowdfunding campaign for it.
Yeah, and that's fine. Just disclosure.
Yeah.
But I'll gush about it. But yeah, it got funded, so that's exciting.
Any closing comments since we're coming up on the 2-hour mark?
Kingdom Come Deliverance is developed by a Gamergator. Don't buy it.
Yep, good point. And also, it's trash.
Yeah. Wait, can you go into that a little bit more?
The game Kingdom Come Deliverance, which you may have seen some reporting on, both some of the bugs it has on Xbox and like people actually playing and analyzing it. The head of the studio, I guess Deep Silver published it, but the head of the studio that developed it is a super Gamergator. So
that detail I did not know. I wouldn't even been bothered if I didn't know.
Yeah, there's enough games coming out that I can go ahead and be a little bit picky about what I play. So even though apparently there's some interesting things going on in that game,
that is a deal killer for Minecraft for me. So it's definitely going to be a deal killer with this game for me.
Hat in Time looks adorable to me, and I'm like, they didn't take JonTron out, and there's just so much other things I need to play anyway. I feel like I can move that all the way to the bottom of the list.
The only other stuff that's really noteworthy is Bandai Namco's aggressively working on their own IP because they had a not-so-hot 2017, apparently, even though they're also doing Metroid Prime 4, so I don't know how it's going to toss up, but whatever.
Hey, Bandai Namco, you want an easy one? I'll give you this one for free.
Smash 5.
Go over to Jump and say, hey, can we make a JoJo game? And
do it.
Like, the JoJo games that are out there are pretty neat.
Who published those?
Bandai Namco makes the good stuff. So when it comes to anime games, I don't know who made Eyes of Heaven.
The JoJo games originally.
Let me check Eyes of Heaven because that was the last one that came out.
While he checks that, there was the Five Nights at Freddy's movie being made by Chris Columbus, which is like okay.
Oh, okay. So you know what? Bandai Namco does in fact have the JoJo license. But CyberConnect 2 did the last one, and I think that was the B team because the primary team for CyberConnect prioritizes Naruto, which they don't have to do anymore. So yeah, make another JoJo. Problem solved. Especially since now it's big in the West. Make another JoJo.
Took long
Just
enough.
do it. There you go. It's for free.
And then we'll wait for Miles to talk about this Hideki Kiyama bullshit.
So here's how I feel about Kamiya. He has a reputation as a badass and like has a really mean streak, but I mean, when you have to deal with like 3 straight years of assholes harassing you for signing a deal to save your passion project character, I would probably stop taking shit too. Yeah, I mean, like, people are like, I don't want to buy a Wii U to play Bayonetta 2. I don't want to buy a Switch to play Bayonetta 3. Like you wouldn't get them otherwise. How hard is that to understand?
Yeah.
Like, you want to talk about games being too expensive to make? There you go. All right, that's all I got.
Ryan, anything?
Unexplored is $2 off on Steam. If you liked it while Evan was streaming it, you should probably buy it.
That's how fun. I got it.
Anything else? There's a new song by Beach House out that's really good. And Courtney Barnett just put out a new single as well. Both of those are worth your time.
Oh yeah, go and go see Black Panther, but maybe like wait a couple of days so people of color can go see it.
The soundtrack is pretty sick though.
The soundtrack is so good.
So good.
And then they orchestrate it for the movie.
It's so good.
It's super
good.
The movie was cool.
I'm jealous you got to see it.
Yeah, it was great. I was the second I got out, I'm like, okay, finally a Marvel movie where I'm like, I want to see it again ASAP.
I don't like Marvel movies, and I might go see this movie because the cast rules, and I've heard awesome stuff about it.
And Ryan Coogler.
I adore Marvel movies, and I'm stoked because King Batman.
Okay, so here's the deal. As far as, you know how like there's Marvel movies and then there's origin story Marvel movies?
They didn't have to do that here because he was in Civil War. It's brilliant.
But it's also, I count it as an origin story film because it is how he becomes the king of Wakanda. Because he wasn't at the point of Civil War. So I count it as an origin movie. So if you're talking about the class of a solo superhero character origin movie, it's probably in the same tier as the original Iron Man. I think it's better than Wonder Woman, and it's definitely better than all the other Marvel Studios origin movies.
I have a hard time believing that this is going to be only as good as Man.
Well, I'm just saying because everybody has like this especially high tier for that, and Avengers 1, you know, those are like the two that always round out the top of people's lists for these. This is gonna like start batting at those for people. I can definitely tell. It's gonna make a crap ton of money because everybody wants to see it.
It's gonna make $1 billion.
It could.
Just watch.
It probably will.
And they're gonna commission Young Avengers or something right after. I guarantee it. I'm not guaranteeing it. That's my monkey paw wish. Young Avengers has at least one white kid in it, so they'll make that.
Yeah.
So cool. I got nothing.